It's just all about, can you do it in one series? And that comes down to match by match adaptability. Let's see it get underway then. 5 minutes on the clock. Boy, take it away.
Game number 1. The Rising Star Odyssey, event number 2. Two great teams on the pitch, and there's one thing that they are fighting for, breaking it, and that is to make their way further in this bracket, make their way towards top 8, and push even further later on. But of course, only one of these two teams can make it. Single elimination is tough and grueling for either team. But Smokes, early on in the midfield, trying to take control for Luna Galaxy, but it's not going to be an easy task. Quadrant, incredibly strong team in both ends of the pitch, but here comes Matane. Past one he will go. He's got no boost in the tank, but almost forcing it through early on.
Either side in the money just yet is where you got to remember, round of 16 is pretty harsh to drop out now, and these two sides will be hating the seeding for it, but nonetheless, like we said earlier, for the development of these two squads, this kind of matchup is pretty much perfect for them.
100%. Here comes Smokes with a flip reset into midfield, trying to take that early control, take that early lead. As you mentioned, I think this is actually a really good start for both of these teams. I don't think any one team here is exceptionally better than the other team. It's a very good warm-up game for whatever side can take that win. Getting a very strong opponent early on, but not someone who's like unbeatable. Both of these teams are very, very capable of winning this matchup. It could very much go either way, and I think that's what makes it such a strong matchup. Because continuing on, you have a blowout as your first match, you might not be warmed up enough going into it, but a match like this, it's looking good. But so too is Temper of an early shot to Neb, and Matane a pinch off the crossbar to get that one out.
I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. Both sides not fully committing to their plays, but they're testing the defense. They're making sure to see where their opponents are weak, where they can find little inroads, whilst not giving up too much themselves. It's a real mind game over.
Big save there by Temper. Out to the corner, they will wait for Viziers past one. The pass into centre, nobody there for the shot. Charlie B, the easiest clear of his life, gets that ball upfield. Grizz will try and take control once more, and he's got plenty of boost to do so. Flip reset, attempt into centre. Saved by Cassio, diving on by. Close, but still not enough.
Smoke's coming across as well there, just gets back in time. That's a very dangerous passage of play. Quite tricky in front of net. Braziers does get the save. Temper right on the line, saved by Braziers and Smokes to get it away. Ooh, okay. Just being able to scrape by.
Braziers clutching up big time with that save. Charlie B off the ceiling now, trying to get a little bit more to net. But what a save from Braziers. It's Cassio down the other end, off the corner into centre. But Braziers quick into action, a defensive masterclass from the German player, doing everything that he can to keep Luna Galaxy alive in this game. Be the main 0-0 with 3 minutes gone on by. This first goal could matter a lot for either team that finds it. Charlie B attempting clear will be denied. The chances continue from both sides, but no goals found just yet.
Good use of width here as well. Luna Galaxy keeping control of the ball, keeping that possession, which is so important. And even Matane feeling a little bit cheeky about it, trying to test the net. It's all about that possession game. This is definitely feeling like a one-goal kind of match, but nonetheless, the two sides, great 50-50s coming out, always meeting each other. There, Matane got up nice and early, but you can see it's more about snatching away that ball. Don't give control.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always seen that kind of the Sonics X Monkeys roster as a highly defensive team anyway. So I don't think it's actually too out of their normality to be so low scoring in their games here and have a low scoring against them as well. And I think actually quite similar for Quadrant, that also a team that is very strong in the defensive department, just in the quality of players that they have. Cassio is kind of time and time again showing how great he is at that third man role of playing back, doing defense. And I think the same for, I would say, more so Charlie B than Temper, showing a lot in the defensive side. So I'm not surprised to see this being a low scoring game, but eventually someone has to score.
Yeah, Luna Galaxy will want to force mistakes, and essentially it's not a case of, we're looking at the top end of EU here, right? It's not going to be unwanted mistakes. You're just there looking to continuously push the envelope and then force your opponent out of boost, out of position. Solo dribble plays like that will not work at this level. The chance here for Charlie B is drop it down into the mix. Look, Casio with a shot. Just kept out.
But Temper trying to get it into Charlie B. Razier's well denied. Going to go up the other end by himself. Both teams want a 0-second goal right now, apparently. Nobody wants to let it drop. It Smokes now down the other end. Casio finally takes matters into his own hands, sends it to the ground, and we have an overtime 0-0.
Well, first the worst, second the best. Here's the second event, and this is already heating up to follow suit in its name. Right into the corner though. Temper, that's a beautiful bounce out to the center. Smokes does get it away.
Nobody's able to get this final shot off. It will fall on out to the back corner. As it rolls on by, Smokes looking for the dunk to no success. Into center now, the attempt denied once again. Temper has some free reign on this ball for a moment as Razier's rises high to challenge. Charlie B taking this ball upfield to the backboard now. It will drop on down, an easy clear to be found for Smokes. But with Temper remaining on the possession, trying to find a pass, it will not be as easy as hoped. Casio now bumped off the ball. Everything that both of these teams are trying has been so swiftly denied Bacon.
And that's because they're playing so safe. There's not that follow-up player to finish it off, that kind of janitor role. You know, we always talk about bringing out the mop and bucket to clean up a spill. No, because you cannot send a player that far forward. Look at Charlie B in the corner. Casio's gone for demos, and Temper's there going, you know what, I need to stay on that midfield line, because if there's a massive clearance, it could just turn into a brilliant counter-attack, and they can't allow for that.
Demo there on Temper will not even alleviate the pressure. It still continues. Charlie B cannot make his touch. Matane going to go up the other end. Denied by Casio. To the corner, the ball will fall. Another attempt. Charlie B running a marathon, chasing that ball down. It's Casio though with the shot to net. It's saved by Matane, and he slips to the crossbar.
The issue right now is creativity for both squads. They're, whilst yes, playing it quite safe, there's not one opener that will spark a bit of ingenuity. Right now is to, dare I say, cookie cutter on attack and defense.
Ball falls to the corner once more. Rolling on down, 2 minutes of overtime play. Charlie B passed one but cannot get a dunk on another. Razier's to centre, now going to be caught by Temper. He's Charlie B in the sideball and he'll make the pass perfectly to him. Into centre, Casio rises high. The shot will not be found. Instead, Charlie B to the side, no success still. Casio 50-50 to the ceiling. The clock keeps on ticking. Overtime continues. A chance finally for Casio, and he threads the needle and gets the goal.
An infield pass, keeping it to the ground so fast as well. Charlie B shouting towards Casio, you better sink this. Casio will say something in French, which I don't understand and won't even bother trying. But nonetheless, Quadrant are going to be grinning after that one.
Certainly so. It was a long game to go, but we finally get one on the board, and that is what matters by the end of it. Quadrant take game number one, and look at the save counter there. 10 saves on Luna Galaxy, 7 saves on Quadrant, and it was a 1-0 game. It is crazy.
And all the kind of stats go in favor of Luna Galaxy, but that's Luna Galaxy's playstyles. Like we said, it's that very highly aggressive press. They'll still be quite offensive, but that's what we mean by the press. They're continuously just pushing into your opponent's half, and at this level, Quadrant are clever enough to just, you know, be able to counterattack that with passing plays, but they won't actually get to their opponent's net because they'll be out of boost. So it's continuously all about like an ebb and flow, like a dare I say, waves, you know, at the ocean. It's just pushing back and forth until something just breaks.
Well, as we get ready for game number 2, Quadrant will be feeling confident. Luna Galaxy maybe a little bit tentative here. The defense have worked for a long time, but eventually they have to score, and they had plenty of chances onto net, but never got anything to the back of it. Game number 2, that has to change, or else this is going to start slipping away from them.
And it's interesting here because Luna Galaxy set the pace, set the tone. Quadrant went, you know what, we'll play your game. Don't you worry, we'll just wait for that moment where we can just strike on in, and they broke their pattern to be able to formulate that play there at the end. Casio doing a half rotate to stay in the mix to be able to receive that pass, and now it really comes down to Luna Galaxy saying, yeah, you've got the foundations in place, but what else can you provide?
Off to the corner now. Here's Temper. A heavy touch up high. Raziers will be the one to catch it. Retain. Bring up field, Charlie B. Good save. But I need to see more offense. That was the wrong way. Smokes and, you know, dunking on your teammate like that, though impressive, is not going to get you any goals on the board.
Well, you'll see offensive aggression and sort of it's more deep push defense really than anything. There's a little bit of ball chasiness to it, but it's purely to just take the player off the ball. There's not a player to follow up and then take control of the ball afterwards. Charlie B though fancied the backboard. Raziers easy pick up.
Comes Smokes. Then that ball upfield wouldn't be denied by Temper. We've seen a lot of double commits come out from Luna Galaxy so far. That is giving me a lot of worry for their defense, because if that happens at a crucial moment, it will quite simply be a goal. Cassio into centre will be saved by Raziers. Temper's going to try and get involved now and will win the challenge. 50-50 attempt on Smokes would be perfect. Into Cassio, perfectly positioned. Charlie B to finish it off. And like clockwork, Quadrant find the goal.
Required all three though. Look at this. Temper with the bump to boot away the defender. Beautiful stuff from Quadrant. Almost looking like a set piece, if you will, requiring everyone. Again, comes down to Luna Galaxy. What do you do from here? You need to have that sudden spark, that catalyst to your plays. Because right now it's looking pretty base.
Right now, their offense has been dull. And it's simple as that. There is no substance to it, and that is why they're not going to win this game unless they've changed that around. Temper, on the other hand, going to try and get a bump on Raziers, can't make the connection. The soft touch was great, but the follow-up not going to be enough. But Charlie B, the goal-scoring machine, he'll get number 2 and cement Quadrant's lead.
Very cheeky as well, because in the past, Quadrant didn't go up for these kind of balls. They played it a little bit more safe, matching Luna's playstyle at the midfield. And instead, Charlie just full sends it, YOLOs. I mean, Charlie's probably too young to actually know what YOLO means, but... Huh?
Okay.
They can't be banking on these, like, can they?
No, 100% no. Like, simple as that. It's a goal, it's a great goal. And they should be happy they've got it on the board. But they've got to do a little bit more work than that. That is a goal that shouldn't be scored, but they will not be complaining. What we need now is more offense from Luna Galaxy, which has substance to it. I can't harp on more about it.
And when we say that Luna Galaxy's playstyle right now is dull, does not mean it's bad, right? Like I said, it's foundational. It's a great starting point, but they've got to take it to that next level. They have got to include good offense, because their defense is stellar right now, but you can't continuously defend.
Temper. Push that ball upfield, quick reset attempt to the sidewall, it will bounce. Cassio had a run onto net, looking for a bump on Matane, but very well dealt with there. The avoidance was good, but the control of the ball not so much. Temper needs his shot to net. And Matane went from so good to so bad. It's a goal for Quadrant, and they extend their lead.
Quadrant have found the answer to the puzzle, pushing defenders out wide, trying to manipulate, move them around, create those openings, and that's when they sink their teeth in. Quadrant going from strength to strength.
Well, oh well, it falls to centre, and Charlie B might just be getting another. Clangs that ball off the crossbar. But the benefit here for the Quadrant side is that's okay. They have a 2-goal lead now. They're in a comfortable position. It might become 3 if they're not careful over on the Galaxy side. Because Temper back into the approach to centre. It will not be a goal, but certainly getting close.
Boy, Charlie wants that hat-trick. 1 goal off right now. The confidence, he's got to be beaming for it. Temper's downfield as well. Perfect little step in, the pass up. No, go for the double touch. Temper makes it a 3-goal lead.
Well, oh well, Quadrant have woke up after game number 1, and Temper, that's an incredible goal. 4-1 for Quadrant in game number 2, Bacon, and we're not even finished yet.
I need to ask that happens in the background. Do we get timeouts? Like, are we following the RCS rule set here? Because it's looking like a timeout is needed to reset.
We'll have to wait and see what the verdict is on that, but a big... Okay, Cassio. The perfect touch out of net. They almost gets a goal out of it. Temper's in position. Even though 2 players in Quadrant get demoed, there's still someone back to make the save. The rotations are sublime, and Luna Galaxy are getting desperate. Demo chasing for their lives.
That's kind of also, dare I say, tradition of Rocket League. You've got such a close game one, game two, turns into a blowout. It's like you've broken the dam and all the water's flooded on through. Game three would be the interesting one, but right now, final minute, Luna Galaxy, one goal is all they need to just kind of mentally reset themselves, saying, okay, it's not all done for, we can find ways through.
Well, time is not on their side for game two, and although another attempt, it will not be resulting in a goal. It looks like they're going to have to say GG to this game and go on next. Luckily for them, it's not a best of 5, so they will not have to try and make a reverse sweep just yet. They've got time to recuperate, they've got time to get back in this series, but it's certainly going to be a very hard ask.
Temper. I talked about Charlie B getting the hat-trick earlier. Temper wants it as well. The two lads are fighting. It's a game of greed out there, and you know what? Just in my best Kermit the Frog impression, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Center, saved by Rezered once more. Find the goal for good luck or anything, Luna Galaxy. They'll get exactly that. Rezered gets another one on the board, but a 4-2 scoreline is not much different from a 4-1.
Yes and no. Quadrant don't care. Like, that goal means nothing to them. For Luna Galaxy on the opposite end, that's kind of like the confidence, like, redeemer, should we say. Like, that's going to be the goal. They'll go, okay, it's not all doom and gloom. We've got this, lads. Don't worry. Where are we going wrong? And for me, it's the support and attack. They continuously just have one-man attacks. And to be quite frank, we're at a level of Rocket League right now, and we've seen it all change throughout this entire season since last summer, that one-man attacks don't do it anymore. If you do get that runaway single goal, it is an absolute weldy that you're going to see on Reddit, you know, you're going to see on Twitter, and it is clipped for days. But here and now in your matches, you only expect one, maybe two of those throughout an entire series. You can't be banking on those every single game.
Not 100%. You cannot let those goals be the ones that kind of bring you into a winning position, because they're not going to come often enough. You're not going to win for only scoring the kind of silly goals, I guess I can even say, where of course the play was good, but you're not in that situation enough to bank on it. Going into game number 3, Luna Galaxy have got to start working on developing an actual comprehensive offense here, because at the moment it's very one-dimensional. They'll shoot the ball to net, it'll get cleared away, they'll go back, and they'll try again. And that's not going to get them anywhere. They need to do a lot more with that.
I did get confirmation as well, boy. No timeouts, no pauses. We've got an entire bracket that could be weighing on this match. Probably not waiting if it's 4-0 to Quadrant, but nonetheless, you know, we can't have any stalls. This is purely a single elimination bracket. There are matches being played out. We want to find out who is the best. And Charlie B looks like he's basically screaming at the top of the lungs, it's me, I'm the best.
Well, off to the sidewall now. Charlie B can try and show that with an attack once more. Unable to get the dunk on Smokes, and instead will be causing havoc in that back line. A pass on back to Temper is all that he can do. But Smokes on a mission to murder, but Charlie B will narrowly avoid and get away with his life.
Team again blocked out. Quadrant have got such a good read for these blocks and 50-50s. Raziers now needs a helping hand. Pop up above Temper. Charlie B's met out by Matane in the center. And again, it's worked out defense absolutely beautifully. Quadrant could be writing a masterclass book here.
Casio to the backboard, will not be connecting just yet, but with Charlie B in a great position to make a pass. It could be dangerous for Luna Galaxy off the backboard. Matane will make a miss. Temper onto net, the 50-50. Will send it out to the side, and instead Matane up the other end. He's got a quick reset to try and make a pass, but a pass only found to Charlie B. Now down the other end, so quick onto the attack, but nothing going to come just yet.
But the attacks coming out from Quadrant require 2 players. If I'm Luna Galaxy here, you go for the counters and you look to make them quick. That's a much better idea coming out from Matane and Smokes there. Casio here, you'll notice as soon as he gets to the corner, he'll look for a teammate, instead called off the fake by Temper. Charlie B's thought better of it, falls back to midfield, and good defensive play. But that's the difference right now for Quadrant. If they're going in for a solo play, they've got a player going in for bumps. If they're going for a passing play, well, you've got to have someone to pass it to. They're not just going straight to net.
Quadrant unable to have had a goal just yet, but so too have Luna Galaxy, the team who's currently down 2-0. That's who needs the goals more at the moment, and they are on the attack for now. And Casio is in an awkward spot, but he does make it work with the help of Charlie B. Gets that ball upfield and into a possible winning position. Temper pass one out to the corner. Here comes Casio battling up the field. No goal just yet, but Charlie B, a great shooting chance. But a pass to Vizier to know he'll find instead.
And he wanted that pass to Raziers, because what could Raziers do with the ball in that position? Instead, just knock it into the corner, and it's stalling the ball downfield. It's keeping that pressure alive for Quadrant. They're looking to just kind of put in a chokehold for the wrestling reference right there. Keep it in their opponent's half and be happy. But Smokes has got some great control. It's bought ground, but can he find a teammate?
Center now, Razier's shot will be sent high. Save by Charlie B. Off to the sidewall. Smokes will receive. It rises high. Casio now onto net. The backboard is where Matane will be waiting for that ball patiently. There's Temper now to the backboard once again. Caught by Viziers up high. Charlie B 50-50 will keep the attack alive, and a great pass out to Temper, in fact. A bump as well. Charlie B, what a man. He had played that to perfection.
Oh, so good. Luna Galaxy needed to utilize width there. You look on our screen right now to the left-hand side, no players out there. That's where, if you need to buy time, you dribble the ball into. Instead, Luna Galaxy were just continuously running along that left-hand side into defenders. Well, I guess more midfielders rather, because it was Luna Galaxy stuck in defense. They're continuously running into Quadrant and not working their way into open space to alleviate the pressure that's being applied.
Thinking about that goal from Charlie B, the touch was perfect and it set up Quadrant to absolute perfection. They're trying to find goal number 2 already here as Temper. They send that ball upfield. No teammates to pass to, but Matane not in a very threatening position. He will make it out to the midfield, but Charlie B, of course, he's there waiting. Going for a man of the match performance at the moment, and a very good reason to do so.
Well, Smokes does dislodge it again. The thought needed. Double commit between Raziers and Matane. Cassio's now got the chance to run it.
Oh,
the
he
fake comes
one.
on out the setup, but no, Raziers gets a touch.
The fake, so dirty, in a time where Luna Galaxy is not having a good time. As insult to injury if he gets a go out of that, but Temper will make the save to get the clearance away. And while Luna Galaxy scramble and hunt for their first goal of this game, Quadrant can do what they do best, and honestly, that is defense. We saw in game 1 how good their defense was, and now with this lead, they can sit back and look pretty.
But Luna Galaxy are close to being able to find the answer. It's just a switch that they've got to suddenly pull, turn on, whatever, and they will be able to take goals and maybe even games. And that's what's so frustrating. They are close to perfect.
Galaxy as close as Bacon is to 40, but still not going to be enough because they're not there quite yet. Off to the side, well, it will go. Smokes can't make the connection. The pass to Raziers, it will roll on around the corner, but Casio down the other way. It should be sent to the ground. A last-ditch effort to possibly find a second goal, but to the ground, it will finally fall. And Quadrant take game number 3 and set themselves up to sweep Luna Galaxy.
I'm going to admit something. I ripped on you last night for picking the worst games, boy, but everyone picked this game because it should not have been a sweep, right? Like, in no way would Quadrant versus Luna Galaxy be a sweep. And I still believe that. I still think Luna Galaxy will have one last hurrah. They'll come into this last game, take it. Who knows from there? But Luna Galaxy, that's such a disheartening, not getting a goal in game 1, not getting a goal in game 3. Only being able to get 2, and both of them were kind of, dare I say, freebies. There was a kickoff goal and then a last-second garbage time goal, right? Luna Galaxy, they have got to find the answer themselves, and they still have not worked out the equation.
They've not found the goal of substance yet. As you mentioned, the first goal they got was kickoff goal, and it's fine. Kickoff goals, they'll happen. Other goal was like a garbage time goal. Didn't really matter. Didn't change the course of the game in any way whatsoever. Game 1 and Game 3, they went goalless. Also want to let you in, everyone, a sneak peek here. Quadrant thought the series was over. They said GG. They didn't realise it was best of 7. They thought they'd won already.
I wouldn't blame them, best of 5s up until the quarters is pretty much the common sort of rule set here, but no, we're saying it's a single win bracket. We do all best of sevens throughout the day. So we go again. Quadrant probably already living rent-free in the minds of Lunar Galaxy, but Lunar Galaxy, come on, do it. Pull the rug out from underneath their feet. How about a reverse sweep to start the day off?
A reverse sweep to start the day. Will Charlie B saying otherwise? He is so quick. Everywhere he goes, nothing is going to get by him. He's looking to be the most famous Charlie B in the world at this stage. Has to beat Charlie Brown first, but you know, he's on his way. Casio though, that is not what you want to see. That is the first mistake we have seen from Quadrant, really, and it will cost them.
That's a big issue for me as well, because we were saying they need to work a goal of their own. This is still technically, I would call a freebie, because that was a massive blunder from Quadrant. But Lunar Galaxy, that's the kind of goal that they need, again, to pull in that confidence, and it could turn this entire series around.
It is the first time this series that Lunar Galaxy have had a lead. So will they actually, you know, work with it? Will they make this pay off? Because once again, we saw how strong their defense can be when they're trying to make these saves. But mistakes are being made from Quadrant, which are very uncharacteristic. Quadrant, maybe they, you know, thought they won. They've already tapped out of this series because these are unusual. Casio again as well. Uh-oh indeed.
My issue, right? Quadrant have shown that they can pull this back in the past. They are good enough today to do this, but I feel they're going to have to dig deep now because, well, Lunar Galaxy are an incredibly good defensive team. They could just bunker down for 4 minutes.
I think what we're going to see now is very similar to what we saw in Game 2 in terms of the offense from Quadrant. Both of these teams coming off from Game 2 went a lot more kind of pressure offensively because of that low-scoring overtime game. It could have went either way. Now we're going to have to see Quadrant go back to that kind of style, and it pays off very quickly because Charlie B will get a goal right as we talk about it.
So those two goals kind of come off the back of Quadrant being cocky, right? Like they've got overconfident. They're doubling down, which is so scary. Quadrant
are doing everything that they can to sweep their series and make those GGs that they already sent stand. They went the early GGs and they may get cursed by it. They're doing everything possible to say otherwise. The passage from Charlie B, Temper was there for the shot, will be denied. But look at this pressure being exerted to the Lunar Galaxy net. They don't have a second to breathe. It is shot after shot to net, and Temper will be the one to find it. Charlie B with a pass to Temper is all that is needed, and another goal will be found.
I didn't see a be careful in in-game chat here, boy, but I'm feeling that aura. You know what I mean? This is scary.
Be careful indeed, and certainly I can speak for everyone watching that Lunar Galaxy have not been the most careful team. They made a lot of mistakes in that back line and it has cost them. But down the other end of Quadrant, they've been prone to making mistakes so far in this fourth game, potentially final game as well, but for now, surviving well.
That's a drawing board. Essentially, nothing's happened. It's all tied up once again. So, Lunar Galaxy, we're still kind of in a case of they've got to create a goal of their own and not just the blunder of their opponent. Still waiting for that spark of creativity on the opposite end. I mean, Quadrant are full of creativity. It is art in motion.
And you see this bump from Temper here. He clips Brazier's car as he's easily going to make that save. Easy to save Brazier's life right there. But that bump is all that is needed. And of course, still like somewhat bit of skill needed for Casio, but a goal like that he doesn't need sleep. Temper was setting it up perfectly for his teammate there, and that's what we're seeing a lot from Quadrant as a whole. We've seen it from Charlie B, we've seen it from Temper, we've seen it from Casio. For its little micro adjustments, getting small bumps, getting small touches, which set up their teammates to get some incredible goals.
2 minute 15. Once again, Quadrant on top. That's 3 goals in a row. But Matane will stop the flow, brings it back to even Stevens. Well. It might have been a little bit late, but we do indeed have a series on our hands.
It's not Casio this time. Charlie B flipping the wrong way on his approach means that Luna Galaxy, off the back of another major mistake from Quadrant, are back in this game. 3 apiece. Temper with a 50-50 down it will go. Things are getting scrappy on the side of Quadrant, but they are still here to win.
He left early, Charlie B going for the second touch, but from that far out, it's an easy pickup for Smokes. Looking to send this infield. No, the fake. No, maybe going infield. Who knows at this point? Does Smokes know? Has he communicated to resist? Yes, but it's not a great touch as Matane will throw it back into the mixer, but Charlie B so quick to the ball.
Clear off to the side. And comes Charlie B now. Matane upfield to Razier. He is chasing that ball down for his life. Not going to make it in time. Cassie upfield, a 50-50 with Smoke will kill it in the corner. Charlie B upfield and Temper, smart to not go for that ball. He plays his position well. His for his teammates to get back, not going to cost the goal just yet. Charlie B, a diving save, will make it just in the nick of time. Cassio to Charlie B. The redirect onto net will be a little bit too high, but Smokes to Matane, a massive miss. Temper, a near post shot will not find the back of the net, but here comes Cassio to continue the pressure. Quadrant hunting for goal number 4.
So Quadrant's differences between players make them a little bit, dare I say, unpredictable, right? Charlie B, you'll notice full stands on everything. Temper is beautiful up an attack, and then Casio is reserved. But look at this play. Temper, he'll even have a Casio back to Temper, who just full sends it into the corner, gets the perfect angle. Oh, it's godly.
Quadrant hits the quad, 4-3. The scoreline now. We're going to get 4 wins in a row as well. They really are the team of quads. But as the clock ticks on down, there is still hope left for Luna Galaxy. One more goal in this game and we at least get an overtime. A clean start. An infinite time on the clock actually to bring this game back, but they have got 30 seconds to find that goal. It Smokes in the corner to send that ball upfield, but denied quickly by Charlie B. He is everywhere on the pitch at the moment, not allowing a chance to break out.
Tane running it, blocked out by Temper. Final 10 seconds. It is Luna with control of the ball, but it might be loose. Look at Quadrant sending people towards the ball at every single opportunity. Casio will want to drop this to the floor. Temper with a big clearance. No one's going to be able to get on it, and Quadrant with the sweep take down the invited team of Luna Galaxy.
Wow. Quadrant, that was exceptional. They are looking really, really strong right now. I can't lie. Everyone, other than that game 4, I can't think of any major mistake. Game 4 a bit different, but wow.
Those mistakes came in from overconfidence as well, boy. It was the case of, rightly so, they were on match point. They thought the game was already done, so they were trying to freestyle a little bit. Go 2 goals down, okay, right. Let's redeem this now. And they went back into serious mode, got 4 goals by the end of it, and looked stellar. Quadrant? I mean, we could have said it about either of these 2 teams that they should be going on through to grand finals, or at least the semi-finals, to meet another invited team in League Esports on their side of the bracket. But these were 2 teams that had a statement to make and were in the run-ins to be our winners of everything today. And Quadrant are on the form to do that.
Certainly are, and of course, their next opponent undecided, could be either Salt or Wild. We are awaiting some results on that one, but Bacon, let me bring back Jam and let you get talking about some results, because we're getting some matches to wait for, and Bacon and Jam, we're going to be the ones to break it down for you.
Hey, Jam.
Right.
How's it going, buddy?
Folks, welcome, or hello again, welcome back. Any old way, what happened? Honestly, what happened? I'm going to be a voice in this guy just for a moment. I'm going to be the god saying, what on earth? We seeded Luna Galaxy, we invited them, and yet, Quadrant, amazing performance. You could see that they were the team that wanted to win the most, even when game number 4, where I think it was the GG curse. Quadrant almost GG cursed themselves into this whole situation. They still were they still could not hold it up, and Quadrant were absolutely on top. The Charlie B and Casio, I love seeing Casio so much that he is still kicking out. He's still a top French player, and this has been something else. We're still waiting on the results from the other matches as well. And I do believe there are some interesting surprises here and there as well. Currently, PSG, Tundra, and Gross Noobs in 2-2 tie in their series. Again, still best of 7. G1 and Ambatakam also in a 2-2 tie. We are seeing a lot of close fought matches, and I wonder exactly which way they're gonna go. Out of the only invited teams, League Esports is currently winning versus C-Poppy, but C-Poppy managed to grab 1 game off, so this is looking great. What about this match? Like, Boyo, is it a surprise for you as well? Was this a Luna Galaxy in your head as opposed to Quadrant eventually winning it?
I wouldn't say a definite for Luna Galaxy, but certainly a favour for them. I did not expect a 4-0 for Quadrant in any world though, and that was the biggest surprise. The fact that it was a sweep was shocking.
And that it could be like, there's only one other match that's got the chance of a sweep here, Jam, and that's Hogan Mode versus Capybara, which, whilst we love our Swiss lads in both Mino and Squixel, they've got Hazo on board as well. You could see Hogan Mode for Owen, that side. These are like, this is the match which should have gone to Game 7. Like, you could have put money on it going to Game 7, but nah, Quadrant just woke up today and we're different. That's it.
Yes, Quadrant, well, they're going to be set in good stead. Their opposition either Sa or Wild, and at this point, Sa is winning 2-1. That series is still ongoing, and more results are coming in on. So, surprises, besides the fact that there are a lot, again, we already have 1 seeded team, or rather 1 invited team already out. Anything that also springs up as a surprise? Did we expect G1 to do better versus Ambatakam? Was PSG Tundra supposed to play better versus Gross Noobs? Or are we just seeing the bubble effect and the depth of the seed in action, Boy? Or maybe without Boya, maybe with Bacon.
Yeah. Boya's just quickly popped off. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's just there. He's just there.
Yeah, like when we're looking at Batakam, Hyder, Stealth, and Rebsy, this is like an interesting choice of players that are always around and prominent in the bubble scene and such. But G1 have just, they are mainstays at this point. You would have thought this would be a 4-1 kind of deal, maybe a 4-2 at best, but I don't know. G1 also have days where they kind of flop, and this is no discredit to the other side, but maybe it's a bit of a flop day to G1. Maybe they're not feeling it. Maybe they didn't warm up. Maybe they were overconfident and didn't feel like they needed to warm up a scrim before the start of this tournament, and now they're paying the price for it.
Goodness gracious. After all this time, after years playing RL on the highest level, you need to warm yourself up. You cannot just go into this one with just guns blazing, hoping for the best. We're going to see how their results go, but it's going to be such a shame to say goodbye to 8 teams already, and some of them might be the ones that the fans have been cheering for. We have had a lot of questions from you folks in the Twitch chat. How can we see Hogan Mode? How can we see Moist Esports? Any of the other teams? And the matter of fact is, they just need to perform really well to happen on the stream. Of course, besides us, The Rocket, the Rising Stars Odyssey, is also broadcasted by The Rocket Baguette in French. We're going to be updating you on which match they will be casting next, but right now they are very actively watching the PSG Tundra versus Gross Noobs, and as up the last update, this was still a 2-2 match. Sun Wild has gone to 2-2. 2.5 men currently winning versus Wara. Capybara Inc. Bacon, you'll be happy to know, no longer a sweep. 3-1. Capybara Inc. finally got themselves 1 game.
Yeah, in OT as well, nearly a minute in, 4-3. So finally turning the tides, and I've actually just head on over towards Wikipedia and had a little look. Close series there between the 2 sides, so that's always heartwarming to see, because Rocket League, when it comes down to the bubble scene, it always depends on like which combination of players you have got together to really propel you to the next level. Looking at Hogan Mode, right, is a great example of that. Growly and Resi, we kind of saw in the mixture and all of this, but they never really went to that next level. Scrub Killer, who I think rightfully people were, calling wash, because had gone from being one of the best in the world to not making it to RLCS, suddenly comes in with this new squad, and Hogan Mode are an incredible new team. It just depends on who you mix with, who actually works alongside you on the pitch, especially when, you look in esport like Rocket League, where it is 3v3. not a 5v5 or 6v6 like other traditional esports. There's so much more value and so much more weight on a single player shoulder.
Right, and we're seeing players that were always just bubbling, coming up strong with, again, you pointed out as Hogan mode as one example, PSG Tundra, Catalysm, Ivan, and Tox. For the longest time, they were either considered to be, oh, well, they're almost there, but not quite, but bam, they combined together for an incredible trio right now, one of the best teams in Europe, and all of these interesting combinations here and there just work. Or even going back to the whole RLCS debacle, the matter of fact is some of the names that are currently popping up are teams and players that have been there for ages and just now picking up. We're looking Carmine Corp, again, Exotic, Itachi, always have been there, but sort of maybe not reaching their full-on potential. It's just all across the board. We're seeing old names, new names, and it bring a lot of hope for the scene. And well, right here on the Rising Stars Odyssey, we're showcasing some of these names, some of these players, maybe your future stars. I guess the name of the tournament is sort of prophetic. Rising Stars Odyssey.
I mean, Rising Stars, I think Rockabit also have claim on, so they might be allowed to apply it here. But I think right now, because of course these other matches are going the distance, you know, trust us to pick the only 4-0 sweep, right?
Of course.
Why don't Twitch chat, you know, start typing which match would they want to see? Because of course, like, you've got so many storylines building here that we spoiled for choice of which to go watch. Of course, we'll probably leave Quadrant because we've already seen them, but that means there's 3 other matches we can see in the next round, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to be dropping down to the lower side of the bracket, where we're going to be picking either a winner of, well, there's, again, 8 teams in total on the lower side of the bracket, so either G1, Batacam, that's 1 match, or 2.5 men versus Wara. Winners of these could be on our screens, or perhaps PSG Tundra Gross News. These are currently playing on the Rocket Baguette stream, Aaron Hogan mode, and of course on Capybara Inc. Winners of these could also be on our screens. We're gonna, and yeah, there is a suggestion, at least a prophetic suggestion, since the results are still not in. We're not sure just yet, but G1 versus 2.5 men could potentially be our match in the quarterfinal, which honestly, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a bit of a difficulty because Zambakam has just gone up 3-2 in that G1 match against them. But 2.5 men have taken down Wara 4-1. And again, this is another side. Like, Wara are currently players, like, dare I say, on the rise. The reformation of Crispy and CMAS alongside Compat, they know each other quite well. Whereas, like, 2.5 men were, when you're looking at Speed and Rizex, 2 players which I would say you're kind of scared will just come out with a retirement at the end of the season because they're those older players. You know, they've been around. They're mainstays of RLCS, and you're seeing them get that reprisal. I remember speaking to Speed just for Christmas at Liquid HQ, and he was like, you know, fully accepting of the world. And he was like, I look to Monkey Moon, he's just a faster me. That's kind of it. And players have those kind of mentalities. But to see players finally click, come up with a new idea, be able to keep in the mix. Toxic is a great addition to that roster. And 2.5 men, I look at is just that one step away. Like, maybe the meta just changes into their favor and they can come back into the fold. And who knows, it's looking like a good day for them. They could go the distance. It's the EU depth, right? Any of these teams could go the distance.
Exactly, and we're seeing veterans, new players, new team combinations. I've already mentioned Bacon. All of a sudden, a bit of pitch of this, a dash of that, and the magic is happening. And we finally have our first confirmation for another series that has finished. 2.5 men indeed have made it through past Wara. So unfortunately, we congratulate 2.5 men of getting into the quarterfinals, but unfortunately, we are saying goodbye to Wara, Simus Compact, and Crispy are out. They will have to try once again for the next tournament, as Rising Stars Odyssey, of course, is a tournament of, or a series of 5 tournaments. We're only in our second one, and perhaps we can get just a little schedule on the screen as well, because everybody, yes, you, including you, I'm talking right to you. I'm pointing at you very, very, very pointedly indeed. Everybody has a chance to participate in these tournaments. We have 4 invited teams as well as 12 teams coming through open qualifiers. First day of every single one of these tournaments is, of course, the open qualifier stage, and then the second day is the main event, the one you're looking at right now, the one where it's going to be broadcasted both on here and on Rocket Baguette. And the next tournament is in a month's time, so there's a lot of time to prepare and be ready to take on the likes of Saw, 2.5 Man, Team Husky, Hogan Mode. The list goes on.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and these dates are so interesting purely for like different factors. July 1st and 2nd, you won't get those teams that are going off to the majors, right? Because it's kind of like, dare I say, it's keeping us interested and warmed up, but those top teams won't be invited, so you'll get even more bubbly action. But it's the last two, the September events where, you know, you're going to be preparing. Like, this is after Worlds. You're going to have completely new rosters coming on through because of the transfer season and all of that. So those are going to be so incredible for spectators to watch. For players, well, you just get to see how you do. It's post-season, you know, before the next season, of course. So much exciting action coming thanks to both Psyonix and Ally.
Right, we need some entertainment in mid-season, in between regionals, majors, before the Worlds, after the Worlds, and this is a perfect chance for not only for the players but for reviewers as well. And I cannot wait to be right here on board for the upcoming tournament as well. Again, shout out to North American side as well, JamesBot and Rizzo, your host for The Draw, the counterpart over on the North American side. Their tournaments are going to be happening pretty soon. The second edition of The Draw is slated to be on June 11th, with qualifiers happening a couple of days prior. So if you do want to register for that, make sure that you don't delay. You want to be quick, but just like in the case of Europe, there is a lot of competition over on North American side. For now though, folks, we are going to be waiting for more and more results to come in. When we come back, our quarterfinal second series of the day, best of 7. This is Rising Stars Odyssey. We'll see you soon.